Same like training children. Training puppies is also a very individual thing, and they are not all the same. All right, guys, let's talk about home alone time. So pretty much preventing. So what we want to do is, by teaching our puppy to be home alone and to be happy by itself and relaxed, is that we want to prevent separation anxiety pretty much. It is important to leave your puppy alone, because when they come to you, it's pretty likely that they've never been left alone before they came to you. They've been at their breeder's place, they've been with other puppies, they've been with their mom. So by the time to come to you, the first time they will be left alone is probably something that they find a little bit unsettling. So that's quite natural. Also consider dogs are social pack animals. They naturally will want to be with you. So that is something that we want to keep in mind, that we actually build a bit of, and we have to help them to build a little bit of independence. And obviously, guys, even though for COVID, people were at home a lot or most of the times, but reality in our lives is, but there will be times when you need to leave your puppy alone. And even if you want to go to the shop, if you have a medical appointment, if you want to go somewhere where they don't want to have your dog. I have some clients, every time they want to go somewhere, they needed to organize a pet sitter. So for them to actually be able to go to a medical appointment or something where they couldn't take the dog became a massive organizational challenge to master. So we really want to make sure your dogs can spend some time by themselves. What are we aiming for? We want to build happy alone time. And I'm not saying I expect my puppy to run around and throw a party while I'm away, but what I'm looking for is my dog to be nice and calm and probably sleep while I'm away. Dogs sleep about 14 hours, 16 hours as adult dogs, some of them as little as 12, but around 14 hours. Puppies sleep around 18 hours a day, give or take a little bit. So you want to make sure, so there is a lot of time for them actually to sleep while you're away is not such a bad thing. We want to make sure we prevent dependency issues and separation anxiety. And we also want to increase our puppy's frustration tolerance. So very important is, guys, especially with puppies, that we find the right setup so we want to use a safe confinement area. For example, a playpen or a crate, or some people put their puppy in a separate room or something when they go. So we want to create an area where our puppy can't harm itself. They can't eat things that they shouldn't. They can't chew on cables. They don't have too much room to work themselves up. Some puppies are just, if we give them the whole reign of the house, they just sometimes get a little bit lost and they start pacing around and looking for their owners. So kind of confining or reducing that space a little bit is often quite helpful. I use a lot of long-lasting chew treats when I leave my puppy alone. So when I leave the house, even with my adult dogs now, I would say probably about 90% of the times, just as I leave, I give them all a little bully stick or a chewy treat or something that lasts a couple of minutes, or even, like at the start, I would look for something that probably lasts even longer. Could be like a Kong, for example, filled with some frozen rumins. So something yummy that your puppy really likes to eat, but it takes them a while. So just a couple of pieces of immediately ingested food is probably not the right thing. So what we want to do is we basically show our puppy, here is your treat and I'm leaving the house. So it distracts them a little bit from like, oh, where are you going? From this FOMO that they might have, because now we are leaving the house and they wonder where we are going. And it keeps them occupied with doing something else. And also we start pairing that event of us leaving with something good happening. So you get a yummy chew and I leave the house. And obviously tiring your puppy out before you leave also helps. So kind of, take them for a longer walk if you leave them. That also helps. And we want to make sure we build up alone time. So we want to build up tolerance first to you moving around. If your puppy, puppies have the tendency to like to Velcro to their people. Like you've probably noticed that your puppy likes to follow you around everywhere. They like to watch what you're doing here and there. So they're like your little shadow. And we want to break that behavior a little bit. We want them to be able to tolerate that they don't have to be constantly next to us. So I do this, for example, by putting them in a crate. I do this by putting like baby gates, setting up baby gates inside the house. And I also use tie-up exercises where I get my puppy used to, for example, I tie them up to the dining table, put their bed down, and then I start cooking where they can see me. They see me moving around. They see me increasing and decreasing space in relation to where they are at that point in time. And I just do my own thing without giving them attention. And we want to build that then up to going out of sight and then obviously leaving the house when they are, let's say, crated or in their playpen. We build home alone time gradually. We got a little plan for you that I want to share with you. And we want to work up to the hours that you eventually want your puppy to be alone for. So if your puppy will be alone 5 days a week for 8 hours, 8 hours per day, then I would say maybe think about, getting a dog minor or like a dog walker, or put your puppy in puppy daycare, just to break up their days a little bit. 5 days a week, 8 hours is very, very long for puppies. It's also long, obviously, for adult dogs. Occasionally, it's doable, but it's nothing that I think is really something that is, a long-term solution, or that should happen every day. So you can certainly, but with puppies, let's say a 12 to 14-week-old puppy, I can sometimes aim for having them alone for like 3 hours. At the time, so I really, they learn to be by themselves. Also keep in mind, if you have other animals, if you have another dog, you want to make sure that your puppy learns that it can spend time by itself without any of the other animals around. Sometimes if you have already a dog and then you get a puppy, they sort of start to become dependent on the presence of the other dog. And if then the other dog, goes somewhere or like has a medical appointment, the puppy is suddenly entirely by itself. They sometimes might not know how to cope with that. Here's our puppy alone plan. So when you get your puppy, usually what I do is in the first week, I get them used to their playpen or to their area, to their I call it condo. And then week 2, I start leaving the house. So my puppy will then be entirely by itself on day 1 for like 5 minutes, and then I increase it to about 2 hours on day 8. So I successively increase the time. And there's obviously a few don'ts also very important with the home alone time training. We want to make sure we don't encourage these Velcro and needy behaviors while we are around. Puppies are very good at getting us to, at really triggering these caring buttons in us, and they look at us and we go like, oh yeah, okay, here's another pet. Or they, we go to the bathroom, simple example, as we go to the bathroom, we want to take a shower, and we can see their little nose under the door, and then we go like, oh, that's so cute, let me open the door. So we really want to make sure we sometimes give them this alone time, and we enforce this breaking of this Velcro behavior a bit. If we constantly allow our puppies to do that, then we create separation anxiety in our dogs, or there is a good chance that they will get so attached to us that if you then have to leave them, it will be like a shock or trauma to them. Can be quite severe, depending on the dog. avoid having your puppy around you all the time. They don't necessarily need to sleep in your bedroom. If it's not the first, few days when after they arrive, they can certainly sleep in a playpen in a different room, or they can be in a crate a little bit further away from your bed, or like even just outside your bedroom. But we want to make sure we create independence. Look, once we have an independent, stable, well-rounded dog, we can always let go of some of the rules and constraints that we do. But I like to know first that we've created, that we've helped our puppy to become bold and confident and really, in a way, self-sufficient without any behavior problems before I loosen my rules a little bit. I hope that makes sense. Make sure that we don't set our puppies up to fail. So when I leave the house, I don't let them free roam in the house. I kind of give them a bit of a reduced space to be in. I set up obviously my water and all of that there, but I kind of want to make sure that they are a bit contained. One, for safety reason, but as I said before, they might start getting a little bit too worked up if they have too much space. You can also leave them a t-shirt with your scent, or like some people, they get a pillow and they stuff or they stuff a few old shirts or so into a pillowcase that has their scent. So kind of we can help the puppy with things like this a bit. We also want to make sure we don't reinforce barking by returning to the puppy while it barks. So it often is said in humans a bit controlled barking. It is a bit of a fine line, guys, but if you start working on that very early, a lot of times when the puppies bark, it's probably when you have very young, quite young puppies, separation anxiety is very uncommon. However, we see sometimes a little bit separation stress. So, and they might bark if you start moving around, they're in the playpen, and, they might bark for attention because you are doing something and they go like, hey, what are you doing? Why am I in my puppy jail? So they might bark for attention. And when we go there, and if we go to them and we always attend them, then they learn that barking will make you come to them. And then if you leave the house and they start barking to basically tell you, hey, come back, that barking usually makes you come back, and suddenly you don't, then they might get frustrated. They might, through this frustration, they might start working themselves up and get in anxious behaviors and develop anxiety behaviors. So that's a little bit of the theory behind it. We also want to make sure that we don't work on alone time when they are the most active. So kind of, let's say getting your puppy all excited and then basically running out of the house is not necessarily what you want to do. You want to make sure they are nice, quiet, and calm, and then you leave. When we leave, we don't make big dramas. The same when I come home, I don't make dramas. Some people say not to greet the dog or like not to give them attention. It's not really my style. When I come home, I certainly say hi to my dogs. They are often behind the baby gate when I step through the front door. And then I say, hi guys, I put my bag down, hang my jackets up, and then I go and I calmly greet my dogs. So the same when I leave, they get their little treaty and I say, bye-bye guys, and I'm out of the door. So kind of these things, they help a little bit to make that more easy for your puppies. That's it about the home alone time.